So my reaction when I first found out that I was pregnant, I was very shocked.
I was scared.
Peed on the stick, went and got a cheesesteak and went to sleep. And I woke up and I was like, I guess I'm gonna have a baby. This is interesting.
I thought about everything, getting in a car crash, running away, everything. I was 15, turning 16, probably 2 weeks after I found out I was 26 weeks pregnant.
There was no way that I was pregnant. I was pregnant because I was on birth control. I was on the pill, and I called my mom and I said, "Ma, the doctor's trying to say I'm pregnant." She said, "No, they're not trying to. They're either telling you or they're not." And I was like, "Well, she said I am, but she's tripping." So we did 2 more tests after that. She's like, "Sherelle, you're pregnant. I'm not doing any more tests." And I was just like, "Oh my Lord Jesus!" Like,
I didn't think I would have support from my family. I didn't want to go to school and be embarrassed, being the only pregnant girl in the 10th grade.
the joy of it didn't come until I saw him in the ultrasound. Until then, it was more like a, what am I gonna do? A confusion. Like, my emotions were all over the place. I was scared in a sense because I didn't know where my relationship was gonna go with his father. I didn't know how his father was gonna respond. That was my biggest fear because I was holding off on telling him for a few days because I just didn't know what to expect.
Here I am pregnant, but I knew that there was a possibility that there were 2 possible fathers, to my child. And I, went back and forth with myself, like, should I abort? Should I keep my child? Because I don't know. Like, I fought with myself for a while. And then the day that I was actually going to go do it, I stopped and got something to eat at Red Lobster, and I sat there and I was like, I was irresponsible, but why should I, get rid of my child for that? And I decided I was gonna keep my child. I was honest with both parties, and I went along my pregnancy. It was stressful, it was hard, but it was so worth it in the end.
Some of the challenges I faced being pregnant in high school were the drama, the naysayers, the feeling of hopelessness. I remember people just talking, just thinking that I was doing this, I was wilding, it was crazy. It was my first time and I got pregnant. So it was just like going to school every day, and at one point I was trying to hide it, but when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I wasn't showing. They told me I carried her in my back. And about 3 weeks after I found out I was pregnant with her, I gained 15 pounds. I had a part-time job at Target, and I remember one of the mothers of my childhood friend coming in, and she just said, "We had such high hopes for you." And I was just like, "Excuse me?" And she was like, I pray for your mom every day. I don't know how she feels."
So the process that I underwent in finding out whose Taj's father was actually wasn't hard. As soon as he came out of me, I knew. When I saw his face, I was like, well, there's my answer. But of course, people want proof, so I get it. So the guy that I actually wanted to be my child's father, which I knew he wasn't, but I was just like giving myself this reassurance, like, well, maybe, just maybe, we took a test and it wasn't him. So I knew. And then eventually his father was like, all right, well, I'll take the test. And then, he took it, but still decided not to, interact or be a part of our lives. So.
My son's father and I are not together, and we are not co-parenting at this time. He gave up his rights. It'll be a year on June 2nd that he gave up his rights to our son. We tried it, but that went south very fast. And it got to a point where, for the safety of my child, mentally, physically, and emotionally, it was just like, okay, if you don't want to be involved, let's figure something out. And he said if I took him off child support, then he would give up his rights because he didn't want him anyways. And I said, no penny is worth, my son going through what he's going through with you. So I took him off child support and he gave up his rights.
So when my child's father decided not to be a part of his life, I was a little hurt at first, especially because by this time he knew that he was his father, due to like a DNA test. I was very hurt, my feelings were hurt, but then I realized at that point in my son's life, he was already one. I'm like, he's amazing, he's taken care of, and I'm doing a great job. So I got over it eventually, and we're still doing good.
When I had my daughter, her father and I weren't on the best terms. It was a lot of family drama with his parents, pretty much denying my child. And him being so young, I don't fault him a lot now, but he didn't have my back and he wasn't supportive at that time. So I was going through it by myself. My mother was a single mother of 2, and I just knew I didn't want that for my daughter. So I had to push through for her. And I had teachers that didn't think I was going to make it. Plenty of people just telling me you'll be a statistic, that's what happens around. And my mom, she wasn't too happy about it. I remember she and I didn't speak for about 2 months until she threw me the baby shower. So it was just hard being so young and going through that.
I worry for my son every single day, and more so now than before, because now he's like, Mommy, where's my daddy? Mommy, is daddy coming home? And I'm just like, where is this coming from? And I just tell him, I've never said anything negative to him about his father. I'll always respond, well, daddy's at work or he's at home. And he'll say, okay, and then I'll just remind him, Mommy's here. I'll say, but Mommy's here though, to get him excited so he doesn't feel discouraged. He's watching TV and he's seeing daddy this, daddy that, and he's seeing daddy picking up the other kids from school and daddy bringing the kids to school. And so I'll walk in and he'll say, well, where's daddy? And I'm just like, daddy's at work, but Mommy's here. And he's like, let's go get ice cream, Mommy. And I'm like, let's go get ice cream, son. And, just keeping him encouraged, because this is a prime time in his life.
So I don't have any reservations about Taj asking me as he gets older, about his actual father, because he's so loved and he's so happy, and all I can do is tell him the truth. How I'm sitting here telling you the truth, I'm going to tell my son the same exact truth, and I'm sure he'll still love me for it, and he'll understand that I had to do what was best for us, and I still made a pretty great decision.
I do worry about the fact that once he gets older, I don't want him to resent his father because of the way his father felt, because his father has a right to feel that way. Not everybody is ready. I want him to grow older and listen to what happened and try to be understanding of the mental space his father was in, the mental space Mommy was in, and him decide, whether he wants to start a relationship with him.
Having my daughter at such a young age has affected the way that I raise her tremendously. I am an open book with her about certain things. I believe every child should grow up learning as they go. I was exposed to a lot as a child, and I don't blame anyone for my choices that I made, but I don't want my daughter to be exposed to certain things at such a young age. But I am a very open book with her. My husband and I have an understanding that she will know everything that we went through as young parents. She will know the family drama that we went through, because I never want her to experience this in the blind or feel like, she doesn't have people behind her, because everybody makes mistakes. I pray to God she does not end up a teen mom. I hope she learns from me. But if she does, I want her to be prepared that it's not a fairy tale, it's not what you see on TV.
He's 2 now, and he is tremendous. He is smart. He is speaking as if he's a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old. His intellect, the way he understands, the way he processes things and puts 2 and 2 together, just blows me away for him to be a 2-year-old. So I expect by the time he's 3 that he's gonna ask me seriously, where's my father? Or by 4, he's gonna say, where's my father? Like, you're saying he's at work and he ain't never returned from work, so what's up, ma? Like, cause he says, what's up, ma, now. So I can only imagine once he turns 3 or 4, we're gonna have that conversation. And I thought about telling him the bad things, but I plan on keeping the bad things until he's old enough to understand. What I plan on telling him at a young age is that, daddy lives in New Jersey. He has a family out there. He is not with us because daddy chose to, move for whatever reason. But you always have mommy, and once you get older, if you want to talk to daddy, we can look into doing that. So I'm not gonna give him the nastiness because I just think he needs to be at an age where he can really, truly understand what happened before I go that deep.
Life is great now. My daughter's father, Steven, and I, we got back together. We're married now. I had my son in 2016. He's about to be 3. He runs the house. But life is great.
I really had to do some soul searching within because I blamed myself, I blamed God, I blamed my son. I cried for nights. I went through postpartum depression where I just didn't want to be here, and I just felt like my son just deserved so much more. And I was really, really hard on myself. But you really have to focus on you, because if you don't take care of yourself, you cannot pour into your child.
Don't rush it. If I could go back, I would. I don't regret anything, but these years go by so fast, and it's stuff that you can't get back. I missed out on a lot being a teenage mom. Like I said, I don't regret it, but if I could go back, I would. And I would have slowed down a little bit, because yes, children are blessings, but you have to take care of yourself first. You have to make sure you're right mentally, physically, emotionally, because motherhood is, it's not easy.
My advice to all moms out there in any situation that you're in is keep going, because you have these children looking up to you. You don't have a choice. You have to keep pushing. You can't give up. My name is Mariama, and I'm a millennial mom.
I'm Desiree, and I'm a millennial mom.
My name is Sherelle Wilson, and I'm a millennial mom.